Hey guys, welcome back to another video in the rSlash/JUSTNOMIL subreddit. Today I have a story and update for you involving a mill that had to move in with OP and her 5 kids, and OP's husband takes his psycho abusive mom's side over everything. Needless to say, some drama and ultimatums take place, so let's see how it turns out, shall we? Divorced mother-in-law recently moved in. There's constant fighting, and spineless husband won't do a thing about her. Mill and Phil divorced right before Christmas. It was hard for both of them. Christmas was a disaster at sister-in-law's because Mill was causing drama before anyone arrived, and instead of spending time with family, we all did presents and left, not wanting to sit there and listen to her criticism. In January, Mill talked my husband into letting her move in with us. I was majorly upset. Having 5 kids at home, and now a mother-in-law who would most likely not help out, was aggravating. My husband and I argued about it, but he wouldn't see my point. Ever since she's moved in, she's been horrible. She's down in the spare bedroom in the basement, and the first morning she was here, she complained because my 2 oldest daughters were in the basement living room doing a morning workout. Apparently they were too loud. I didn't know how loud they were being, but asked them to at least try to be quieter next time for Mill. The 3rd morning, I woke up unexpectedly earlier, went into the kitchen, and I knew my girls were in the room below me. I snuck downstairs to check that they were being quiet, and they were. But as I'm making coffee, I hear Mill stomp out of her room and start yelling at them for making too much noise. The moment I went downstairs, Mill was surprised I was there, and I told her that they were being quiet, and that if they weren't, I would be able to hear them too, considering the distance from her bedroom and the kitchen is the same distance. Mill went crazy and made up excuses about me covering for the kids to annoy her, how I hadn't been a good host this whole time, etc, etc. I told her I have 5 kids and a busy schedule. I wasn't going to cater to her, and I sure as hell wasn't going to be nice while she constantly causes fights over stupid things. I told her if she didn't like it, then leave. She followed me around the house still trying to argue, but got tired and said she was leaving. Without a mask, by the way, which I threw at her. She stayed away for the rest of the day and came home all smug. Little did I know that smugness was because of the victim card she played with my husband. She told him how I harassed her for no good reason before apparently assaulting her. She was referring to when I threw the mask at her. My husband got home and we got into a huge fight, where he tried to blame me for his mother not being treated right during these times, for which I brought up her constant arguing, disrespecting our kids, and generally not being any type of help at all. My husband kept going on about hard times, to which I told him it doesn't excuse her behavior towards anyone. Needless to say, he ended up on the couch that night. The last straw came tonight, when I went to pick up my daughters from cheer practice, and Mill insisted on coming. Fine, I thought, maybe she's lightening up. I had to make a stop on the way home, and the girls came into the store with us in their cheer practice clothes. It was a warm night, so I didn't make them change. The moment we stepped into the store, Mill berated the girls for dressing inappropriately and how disgusted she was. I told her it was a warm night and they had just finished practice. If you have a problem, then wait in the car. She of course didn't, and still walked behind us making snide remarks. The moment we got home, Mill ran to my husband and told him how I'd told her off again, of course leaving out the parts of what she said about the kids. I once again look like the bad guy. I'm aware my husband is so far into the fog that he now sees me as the bully to his mom. I may come off bitchy about her, but her issues do go on all day. I don't have time to type them all out. I just hope you see my point. So the update after this one got deleted because the mods of JUSTNOMIL are ridiculous and delete everything good. But what I can gather from the comments, Mill was being downright terrible to OP's children, even going as far as to throw things at them, and she even assaulted OP's kids in front of OP's husband. And her husband stood up for his mother, not his kids, not his wife. He took Mommy Dearest's side. So he put his mom into a hotel room to get away from his wife's yelling. Absolutely pathetic. But anyways, let's continue. Well, after what I feel like has lasted several months, things have started to change, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I can start to keep my husband out of the fog. After my last post, I talked to my kids and they all agreed to a little therapy, mostly for the older girls, but I thought it would help my younger kids as well. The girls are in the final stretch of their competition season, and they are back to in-person competitions, so last weekend we ended up going out of town for it. The night before leaving, my oldest daughter made a post on social media wishing everyone well and hoping everything goes well, with a photo of her and 2 of her teammates. Mill decided to comment disgustingly on it. My daughter showed me, and then I reacted. I practically stuffed the phone in my husband's face and then full on went off on him. I gave him 2 options. Either block your mom and do what is right for this family, including therapy, or be gone by the time we return. I also told him I checked our accounts and knew he was paying for her stay in a motel, so make her pay for herself, because our money we both made wasn't meant to be spent on her. I also told him that if he thought I was joking, have fun seeing your stuff outside on Monday. And I also had been looking into divorce attorneys, so I have the number for one already. We originally left Thursday morning, and by Saturday of not speaking with him, I think it actually hit I was keeping to my word. He called his mom and told her that things at the moment weren't the best, and inviting her to stay with us was a bad idea. Some events took place that he shouldn't have ignored, and he needed to step up and do the right thing for his family instead of pushing them away. He also told his mom it was best that they didn't talk for a while, and that she needs to come and collect her things or have someone else collect them. Mill cried on the phone to him, tried to beg for forgiveness, but my husband just told her to leave him alone for a while. Mill refused to come pack up her stuff, so my husband had to do it himself. I found out Mill had been cut off when she realized my husband was no longer paying for her stay, and she had to pay for it herself. She called me mid-competition to scream at me, and when I didn't answer, she left me several long, hateful voicemails. I left all the voicemails until I got home, which my husband listened to, and we all had a long talk as a family. There were a lot of apologies, and my husband agreed to go to therapy for us, himself, and the kids. He's already had to block Mill on his phone after continuous unanswered calls from her, then went on to block her on our phones too. Our first therapy sessions have all gone well, and he has owned up to being blinded by his parents' divorce, and has come to the realization that it doesn't excuse her actions. We are trying to rebuild as a family, and hopefully I can keep my husband out of the fog. My husband is walking away from his mom for good. Well, I didn't think I'd be back here again to update, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting this from his mom, whom we all haven't spoken to since we started going to therapy. It's a bittersweet ending. My oldest daughter has recently been in the hospital after she fell at her last competition. She's ended up with a pars fracture, which could put her out of cheer for good or remove her from the next season. My daughter has been devastated and honestly has been depressed about it. She's been speaking to her therapist about it because not having her cheer family and the people she's relied on this past year is becoming exceptionally hard on her. Family has dropped by the house for a couple minutes with gifts and lots of love for her. Mill decided to go on Facebook first to make fun of our daughter and her injury. Then a day later tried to send family over to our house with a condolence gift for her. This family member doesn't have Facebook, so I had to show her what Mill wrote, and she couldn't believe the audacity that Mill would say what she said and then send her over with a gift. My daughter told her to take it back, which the family member understood. Mill went onto Facebook a couple hours later to complain about her ungrateful granddaughter, to which a different family family member reminded her that she was supposed to be no contact with us, and Mill ignored the person and deleted her comment. I didn't need to say anything to my husband, as he was already sent a photo of Mill's first comment and had been sent a picture of the second, so he decided to contact a lawyer without hesitation to draw up a letter to his mom. This letter just put an ending to all communication, and he wished her well with the rest of her life, and stated he could no longer be her son. At last, the husband became a man. I love when these stories end like this, when things come into fruition, and a person, OP's husband in this case, is able to come out of the fog and see that the person they were defending is actually the problem. I think OP's husband realized that he was about to lose his entire family over his mother, and OP's ultimatum woke his ass up. People always hate on ultimatums, but sometimes compromising just isn't an option. Just because someone is your family member doesn't mean they're good for you. A toxic person is still toxic, regardless of whether they're blood or not. But anyways, I'm glad OP chose his wife and kids, and I hope you enjoyed this Just No Mail story. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!